Hello, this is Lady Boulain. I hope you're having a marvelous day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. Okay, so this division supposedly that's going on between black men and black women, this is just a made up scenario by somebody who wants to sow discord between black men and black women, because the reality is most black men and black women are going to vote alike. That's the real bottom line of all of this. And so the Huffington Post wrote this article, and I think this sums it up pretty nicely. The media is giving black men too much credit for something white women do: support Trump. See, those are the real Trump supporters, the white women. But they're trying to put a lot of focus on black men to make it seem like, oh yeah, all the women are for Kamala, but it's these black men over here that's going to throw the election because they're voting for Trump. So I'm glad somebody pointed this out before the election. The article was written by this guy, Stephen A. Crockett Jr. He writes, as soon as there is even a whisper of a possible Donald Trump presidency, out come this mysterious group of black men that wear boat shoes and khaki pants that don't meet their ankles. Black men that don't frequent black barbershops, that can't wait to vote for the orange one. Okay, there you go. For some reason, there is this belief that the pathway to a Trump victory takes a suburban off-ramp into the mythical marsh of black men who don't listen to hip-hop, who plan to push Trump into the White House. There are surveys and polls and conversations all supporting this belief that young black men are going to not only vote for Trump, but tip the scales in his favor, because young black men, or at least a quarter of those surveyed, somehow find themselves connected to the man who once yelled out, "Oh, look at my African American over there," during a rally in which the Republican presidential nominee spotted a lone black face in the crowd. Make no mistake about it, Trump's been pulling out all the stops to try and sway young black voters by getting endorsements from Detroit rapper Trick, former boxer Tommy Hitman Hearns, former NFL players Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, and famous celebrity Amber Rose. This is, of course, assuming young black male voters even know who these people are. Okay, that's a very good point. What this means is that they'll come into the black community, throw a few dollars at some unserious people in the hopes that they will peel off a few votes for them from the Democrats, but people that they know they don't have to take seriously. And so this is what we have here. Back to the article, and it's a good article. But let's not get it twisted. If for some reason Trump wins this election, it will not be the fault of black men. Not young black men, not foreign-born, legal voting black men. Not black men who still believe that Trump gave everyone $1,200 during the pandemic. He didn't. Congress did. Not any of the black men who are black men and who will ever be black men. No black man, even those who might vote for Trump, will sway the election, period. Black men are not going to be the decision makers in this election, no matter how much their egos get blown out of proportion. There's 5 or 6% of them that vote for Trump. You are not going to be the decider in this election, and you won't get credit for being the decider. Just saying. The writer continues, but what feels more sinister about this election cycle are reruns of black men can't wait to cast their vote for a man who openly despises them. An undercurrent of potential blame toward black men should Trump make it into the White House. That is what's sinister about it. This whole idea that there are black men out there who can't wait to vote for Trump. Now, we know there are outliers in our community, but that's a small number. It feels like enough pieces have been written claiming that black voters could play an important role in determining the outcome of key 2024 elections, as Pew Research claimed early this year. And that is just not true. Let's be clear about this. Black women don't vote Republican. They aren't just the backbone of the Democratic Party. They are the Democratic Party. For nearly a quarter of a century, an astounding 90% or more of black women voters have rallied behind the Democratic ticket in presidential elections, Glamour magazine reports. In the last election alone, in nearly every state, 80% to 90% of black voters cast their ballot for the Democratic candidate. It's a consistency that spans regions and decades. So if we aren't talking about black women voters, then who must we be talking about when news outlets claim Harris and Trump tied amid battle for Latino and black voters if historically black women don't ever vote Republican? They must be talking about black men. And this narrative, this setup, if you will, that's been spinning for some time, that black men are going to help lead Trump to victory, isn't just false. Like much of Trump's campaign promises, it's a flat-out lie. Because the real culprits are hiding in the cut. This election, according to the writer, is not going to be won or lost by the number of black men that support or do not support Kamala Harris, even though it's going to be probably razor thin. Martin Luther King III told USA Today, you can't go and say, well, it's black men's fault. No, it's not going to be black men's fault. It won't be. And MLK III isn't wrong. For some reason, this idea that black men are planning on voting for Trump or sitting this election out was, unfortunately, perpetuated by former President Barack Obama, who chided black men that he believed were planning to sit this election out because they couldn't bring themselves to vote for a black woman. I don't know if President Obama did any good or not, but we shall see. This writer correctly summarizes that President Obama didn't do anything but aggravate black men who never liked him in the first place. And so they just took this opportunity to hit social media to lambast him for anything he might have said that they didn't like, because black people don't vote for Republicans, not even disgruntled black men, not in any numbers that would even remotely affect the election. So I agree with the writer on that. Black men don't vote for Republicans, except these people like Thomas Sewell and people like that, who benefited from all of the social gains that were made during the civil rights era and then turned on black people and became an expert on all the things that are wrong with black people and black society. Nearly a century has passed since a Republican presidential nominee even came close to winning a majority of the black vote. Herbert Hoover in 1928 was the last. Oh my goodness. It is asinine, bordering on malpractice, for a journalist to publicly suggest that one of the most vociferously anti-black candidates could achieve what no Republican has done in the last 96 years. Setting aside the media's lazy, inexplicably stupid exercise in speculative fiction, one wonders why the mainstream media narrative seems to intentionally avoid the one topic that, when it comes to presidential elections, is more important and more mathematically relevant. Okay, let's get this. The same organization, the Pew Research Center, that said that thing about the important role of black voters in 2024 knows that 55% of non-Hispanic whites voted for Trump in 2020, while 92% of black voters, 59% of Hispanics, and 7% of Asians voted for his opponent. Political scientists concede that white voters of both parties are more likely to switch parties when the candidate is black. So this planted storyline, this sorry attempt to posthumously blame a possible wayward presidency on black men is so Trumpian, it could be a page out of Project 2025. It's completely made up, is not actually a thing. There is no mass deportation of black male voters leaving the Democratic Party to vote for Trump. Let's take a trip back to 2020 when President Joe Biden was supposed to win by a landslide because the country was exhausted from all the racial rhetoric, the misogyny, the sexual assault allegations, COVID-19, and the President of the United States throwing paper towels at hurricane survivors. And that's the Cliff Notes version. White women were supposed to throw all their support behind Biden, if for nothing more than to oust the sitting president, and yet more white women voted for Trump. So see, that's who's going to throw the election for Kamala if she doesn't win. It's not going to be black men. That's the point of this whole article. According to NBC News, 55% of white women voted for Trump, while 43% voted for Biden. Compare that to 91% of black women. Black women, are y'all tired of holding up America, voted for Biden, while some 8% supported Trump. Black men will not be the scapegoat should Trump make it back to the White House. Should it happen, white women, it's on y'all. So regardless to what happens during this election, regardless to who wins or who doesn't, it won't be black men's fault. Black men and black women are together. We work together. There are outliers, but the main body of black men and black women in America work together and we vote together. Okay, y'all, thank you for listening. Have a good day.